Share Ube, I want to say thank you so much to all participants and thank you so much for the speaker. I just want to say this event is not just an ordinary BCC, but rather IBCC, which
Okay, I
hello.
think there's all right. Yes, hello, Kak. All right, I think there is a something bad connection from Kak Mary
Is it good?
Bayhaki. Hello, yes.
Hello. Is it
Okay, we hear you, Kak. So go ahead. Okay, halo Kak Alfa Mary Bayhaki. Okay,
hello?
hello, yes,
Is it good right now?
yes, yes. Go
Okay.
ahead, Kak.
Okay. Okay. So, so much participation. I just want to say that this event is not just an ordinary BCC, but rather IBCC, which wants to bring Malang's name to the world stage, especially in the ESG field. So be enthusiastic and good luck for everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for Alfa Mary Bayhaki for your motivating word. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on the opening speech by the project leader of Malang Globe IBCC, Jason Cristianto Ebenhizer. Time is yours.
Okay, first of all, good afternoon, everyone, and of course to our esteemed speaker, Kak Rugun, as well as Kak Mary, as the president of Share UB. And hello, everyone. My name is Jason, and I'm the project leader of this Malang Globe International Business Case Competition. And it's so good to have you all here. I'd like to thank you for your attendance and thank you for providing time for our very first event, the Malang Reaches the World webinar, the first of many great things ahead. A little bit about this business case competition. We are now at the forefront or the starting point of our business case competition. After this, we will be followed by several events, such as the preliminary round, as well as the semifinals round, and finally the grand finals for our competition. But we will also hold two consulting workshops at June 20 and June 22. So mark your calendars for our creative workshops. And that is all from me. A little bit about this webinar's theme and material. It is about ESG, and we have considered expertise in ESG being a very important aspect in our daily lives and also in our professional landscape. That is why we aim to bring ESG insights to you all, and of course to promote our principle in Share Universitas Brawijaya, that is to do well and do good, not only to bring sustainability, but also to bring success in our personal lives, in our businesses, and even maybe in our future. Maybe that's all from me, and enjoy Kak Rugun's session today and enjoy the webinar as a whole. And I'll give it back to Rico. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Jason Cristianto Ebenezer, for your motivating words. So, ladies and gentlemen, next session, we will be showcasing a short video that highlight the core values, vision, mission, and the key activity of our organization. Through this video, we hope to give you a better understanding of who we are, what we do, and how we strive to bring do well, do good values to our students across the world from Malang. Please pay close attention as the video plays. Without further ado, let us watch the third company provider video.
The world is changing. The world needs a new economic paradigm, combining performance and social and environmental impact. For companies to be profitable and have a positive impact on society. For public institutions to serve populations more effectively. For individuals to find a purpose in their work. To contribute to this transition, SHARE becomes do well, do good. We put our mission at the heart of the company's name. Our purpose is to train, advise, and support leaders and future leaders to find the right balance between impact and performance. Our company is structured around 3 activities: consulting, education, ventures. We want to create an economy that works for all and for the planet.
Wow, that was really remarkable. The video gave us a glimpse of the passion, professionalism, and commitment our organization brings in delivering the best. Men inspire us all with pride and motivation to continue creating and contributing even better in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we're moving on our next session. Something we all been waiting for. It's time to present the IBCC teaser video. This short preview will give you a first look into what IBCC is all about, the excitement, the energy, and the opportunities that lie ahead. So, please relax, sit back, and let's enjoy this special teaser together. And of course, let's roll the video.
Innovation Business Case Competition is a platform for future business leaders to solve real-world cases through strategic thinking, digital innovation, and sustainability. Malang Globe is an international business case competition held by Share UB to help transform Malang into a global creativity hub, supporting the city's 2025 vision as the world's creative city. With the theme Empowering Global Impact, Mastering Technology and Digital Innovation for a Sustainable Future, this event becomes a trendsetter in national and international business development. This competition aims to foster world-class innovation through sustainable business solutions powered by technology and digital transformation. Mark your calendars. Here's your journey to innovation.
Wow, what an exciting glimpse into what's coming with IBCC. The energy, the innovation, and the spirit of the competition all perfectly captured in that short teaser. We hope got you excited and curious about what's coming next in IBCC. So stay tuned because IBCC will be an experience you won't want to miss. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep the excitement going as we move on the next part of our agenda. Now, let's talk about what's bringing us here, Malang Globe, an international business case competition by Share UB. Malang Globe is a platform to shape future leaders through innovation and real-world strategy. It also supports Malang vision as a global creativity hub toward becoming a world creative city by 2025. Carrying the grand theme, empowering global impact, mastering technology, and digital innovation for a sustainable future. Because today, we don't just need smart ideas, we need sustainable ones. And this is where young change makers start turning innovation into the real impact. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on our next session. This session is the main agenda for today. Are you guys excited for this session? Please react, give me some react on the column chat or something like that. Are you guys excited? All right. Yes, of course. The next session is the speaker session. To ensure speaker session runs smoothly and stays focused, this session will be guided by our outstanding moderator, Kak Raihan Rashid Rizkula. Kak Raihan is currently pursuing a Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Engineering at Brawijaya University. Beyond academic, he brings hands-on experience as an IT consultant, intern in aplikasi rentas digital, and has led multiple strategic consulting projects for startups like Salesforce and Credibox. He currently serves as the Vice President of Expertise Network at SER Brawijaya University and has strong track record in training, strategic planning, and public engagement. So, with his experience in his business development, data analysis, and passion for innovation, we are confident this session will be both engaging and insightful under his guidance. So, without further ado, I now hand over the session to our moderator. Please welcome Kak Raihan Rashid Rizkula.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Rico. How is everyone doing
Hello.
here?
Kak, may I ask you first, how are you today?
I feel really great. And I'm really happy to be here and given the chance to be the moderator for today. And I think the participants are all very welcoming, as you can see in the group chat. Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay, I want to ask something. How have you been lately? Busy with anything or something like that?
I think mainly I've been busy with college since that's been my first priority. I think I've done a lot of projects these past few months, and I think I'd like to just take it slow this time.
Okay, we're really happy to have you with us. You've done quite a lot in the field of consulting and leadership. And I want to know, how do you feel about moderating today's event?
Like I said again, I feel really excited. And you've said previously that I have several experiences regarding consulting and projects, but I think I'm only barely scratching the surface. That's why after hearing that Karogun is going to be here, knowing the theme of the event, I mean, I've got my book ready, I got my pen ready, and I'm just really excited to learn more about what you guys have prepared. That's all.
Okay, I know you're ready, Ka. I love that the spirit. I'm sure with you leading the discussion, we're in the good hands. All right, then, without further ado, I hand over the session to you. The floor is yours, Kak Raihan.
Okay, thank you, Rico. Hello again, everyone. I think I'm gonna allow myself to introduce myself again. My name is Raihan, and I am very honored to be able to serve as your moderator for today's sessions. Now, as you have heard before, we are now entering the main part of our event, which is the speaker session. Now, before we begin, I want to warmly introduce our distinguished speaker, Kak Rugun Firni Sipayung. She's a passionate environmental advocate and expert in sustainability. Now, before I continue and introduce Kak Rugun in more detail, I'd like to confirm if Kak Rugun is already present here with us. Maybe Kak Rugun can perhaps give us a thumbs up with the reaction in the comments. Okay, I think everyone is also excited to have Kak Rugun here with us. Okay, now, like you've seen in the slide before you, for those who have not met her yet, let me share why Kak Rugun here is the perfect person to guide us today. She's the co-founder of FSMA, a nonprofit tackling wastewater recycling and community health in Indonesia, and she's also a current Mercedes-Benz Fellow with the Be Visionary program. As you can see, here's a quick snapshot of her journey. She's an ESG consultant at Insolity Consulting. She's a fellow at B Visionaries, the Mercedes-Benz Fellowship. She's the co-founder environmental NGO of FSMA, and she's also pursued a master's degree at ITB and Global Sanitation Graduate School in partnership with IHE Delft. Okay, I think I can speak on behalf of everyone that we are very impressed with Kak Rugun's journey. Can everyone perhaps give a big round of applause and reaction in the chat? Okay, that's great. Okay, now I think without further ado, I'd like to introduce Kak Rugun. Hello, Kak Rugun. Welcome aboard. Could you please say hi to the audience?
Hi, can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, it's very clear and we're very audible.
Hello, Rehan, and also all the juniors. I can say that, right? I'm so excited to see you guys, and I will follow our moderator here.
Okay, thank you, Kak Rugun. I think before we jump in, I'd like to ask first, how has your day been, Kak Rugun, lately or today?
Wow, quite busy.
Okay, okay.
Quite busy because there are a lot of projects that we do. Building an NGO can be really hard, and also ESG. There are a lot of news in ESG, and we have to update with all the news with that. So yeah, just enjoying life, and then also
Okay, Kak
doing
Rugun.
projects. Yeah.
Okay. So been very busy, but busy with something that you're passionate about and also very concerned about. Okay, Kak Rugun, I think before we jump in again, I think I can also speak on behalf of everyone that I did a couple of background on Kak Rugun. I've searched about you and everything. And it's been, I think one thing that really stood out to me is that you've been very passionate in the field of environmental and sustainability. And I have this one question in my mind that I want to ask is that when did you first realize that this is something that you would want to pursue in your life? I think that's a really
Oh,
good question.
oh yeah, that's a really good question, Rehan. And by the way, I'm so happy guys to be here. I see the column chat in the chat column. Uh, all the students, all the juniors, you're really excited. So I'm just so excited as well. If based on your question, how do I start and how do I interest in this sustainability something? I think it is more deeper in this field when I was graduated from my school because yes, to be honest, after I learned a lot about the environmental issue, and then I do you know have you ever gone for holidays, and then you go for holidays and then you see the natures? I'm a type of person, if I get so stressed, I go to the natures and I need this natures keep this beauty, keep this I need all the natures this green, and I don't want to be polluted. And that's why I started, oh, how can I do something with our natures? And then talking about the sustainability, there are a lot that are really big. That's why I realize maybe if whatever I do, whether I am a NGO founder or maybe I am a consultant, I need to do something that help our environment to be more sustainable.
Okay, thank you, Karagun. I think I also relate a lot with what you said. I think when sometimes we are very packed with all of it in our mind and we just want a quick escape, I think the nature is the way to go. And I
Yeah.
think protecting it and also making it something that will last in the future to come is something that is also we need to take care of together. And for you to make it your main purpose and mission in your life, I think that's really admirable.
And then the other thing that I want to add, Rehan, if you know, guys, what is Sustainable Development Goals, because I learned that a lot when I was in my college, in my school. I see there are in Indonesia there are one point, and maybe another points also. Indonesia really have a small achievement in that one, and as you can see, my expertise actually in water and sanitation. Indonesia is still really small, and really the achievement for the safe water and the safe sanitation. And because I see the gap in that, that's why I think, oh, there is something that I can do in these fields. I have an expertise. I have a background in this environment, and then I think I think I will do more contribution in these fields, if you get what I mean.
Okay, Karagun, I understand. I think I just realized that now that we are very low on regards of waste and on how clean our water is. And yeah, I think with what you've said right now, I'm really, really excited to hear what you have to say with your presentation today. I think I'm gonna learn a lot, of course, and I think I hope everyone, just like me, have already had their books and pen ready to take notes. And I think I can talk with you on Engarogun about this topic, about you, about everything, but I don't want to keep everyone waiting. So I'm gonna say, are you ready and excited to bring the session for today and share your insight, Karogun?
Yes, I'm so ready here.
Okay, thank you, Karugun. Since Karugun is all ready, without any further ado, the time and place I give to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rehan. Can the committee help me to share the screen yet? Okay, so excited to speak with all the smart students in here, the ambitious people. Okay, guys, this is our topic today: empowering global impact, mastering technology and digital innovation for a sustainable future. And before that, I would like to ask to you, what semesters are you in right now? I mean, like, what's your level in semester? What semester are you? Can you give me the comment in the chat box, please? Okay, seconds. Okay. Wow. Okay, thank you so much. There are a lot of us juniors from second semester, third semesters, and then fourth semesters. Okay, so that's why I prepared the material really, really general, not too specific. So all of you can follow me about what is ESG. Yes, and next, I can say that ESG is really broad, really huge, and that's why I hope all of you guys can follow me. If you have any questions, you can write it down and then you can ask me later. What we are going to talk is about my career journey, and then why ESG matters for the future of business and global context, and then we integrating ESG into corporate strategy, and then digital innovations for ESG, tools for sustainable futures, and then skills for future ESG oriented leaders. By the way, I don't want these sessions like a class, to be honest. And I don't think I need like 90 minutes for this session. Like, I usually talk in 10 minutes and then 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but I do really hope all of you can get all these contents in here. And sometimes I will also ask the participants. Next. Yes. So in 2020, I graduated from Bandung Institute of Technology in Environmental Infrastructure Engineering. So my background in environment engineering. And then after that, I right away take my master's in Global Sanitation's Graduate School. It is in ITB as well, in Water and Sanitation's Infrastructure Management. And then next, in after I graduated, my first experience work as a water and sanitation specialist in international NGO, Fecal Sludge Management Alliance. So we get funding from Bill Gates. And after that, this is my first time jump in ESG. It is in the first year in 2024. My role is corporate relationship junior manager in ESG tech startup. It is Satu Platform, and then yeah, currently I am building an NGO that named FSM Aman. And then I also a fellow in Be Visioner Mercedes-Benz. And then the third, I am a self-employed ESG consultant. Next. Okay. So my experience related in ESG and climate management, my current project is a ESG consultant for bank industry. And then I also count the emissions that project based for water recycling unit in FSM Aman. And then, as I said before, corporate relationship junior manager in Satu Platform. I also ever take training from GRI and then completed my training in IFRS. It is a new standard. And then also I certified GAG accounting and verifications. I take that training in Insolity Consulting. Next. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Maybe I will ask one of you guys, or if you, sorry, if you, in the previous slide, please. Okay. Do you have, what do you think about this picture? It is a cause or the effect of the climate change? Excuse me, can you share the slide? Yeah. Maybe one of the students want to raise their hand. One of the participants, do you want to raise your hand? Okay, I think I hear a sound here. Okay, maybe if I will ask one of the students that open the camera. Hi Tahara, can you? Tahara is okay. Okay, you can comment in the column chat. Yeah. Yeah, I guess this is the impact when we didn't concern to ESG. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, as you can see, this is the flood, there is a fire, there is a drought, there is a pollutions from the industry. In this picture, this is the cause and effect of the climate change, actually. So when the industry produce the pollutions, it will affect the climate change. It will affect the global warming. Okay, next slide, please. And I believe every one of us ever heard about the news about the flood that happens in Indonesia currently. And also, there are a lot of evidence of global warming already underway, as you can see, everyone, and you can read that the carbon dioxide raise, and then the second is glacier red unmatched, and then the sea level rise faster than any prior century, and then summer Arctic ice coverage smaller than any time, and then ocean warming faster than any time since the end of the last age. And then as you can see the list below, but everyone, if you can see in the bottom right, actually the Earth's climate naturally experiences changes in temperature over time. So actually it is a natural things if we have an up and down in temperature. But if you can see in the bottom right, it was stated that no atmospheric carbon dioxide values like today's over at least the 800,000 years. Like as you can see in the bottom right, the carbon dioxide really have a big number like 395 ppm. And do you know why the reason the carbon dioxide raised this in this year? It is because the industrial revolution, yes, so sad. So there is correlations and connections between the raising of the temperature and also with industrial revolutions. That's it. Next slide, please. Sorry, this is about a bit story. Because of the raising of the temperature, that's why there is, if you ever heard about Paris Climate Agreement in 2016, what was said that its primary goal is to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and pursue efforts to limit it until 2.5 degrees Celsius. And what Indonesia do, we also show our commitment in a document that is the title is Enhanced Nationally Determined Contributions Republic of Indonesia. So what we are doing is how to produce low emission. So we can align with this Paris Climate Agreement. Next, please. Okay. I want every one of you or all the participants can read these slides. So there is a case where a company loses their financial because something, for example, British Petroleum in 2010, Volkswagen in 2015, and Cambridge Analytica 2018. So as you can see, it was said that BP's U.S. Deepwater Horizon oil spill, where BP received 53.8 billion in fines, cleanup costs, and local reparations. So they get fines, and then the company was charged, Volkswagen. Was charged in penalty for rigging 11 million diesel vehicles to pass emission tests. And then the third one, the Cambridge Analytica harvested the personal data of 87 million Facebook users, resulting in FB losing billions in market value. I don't know, this is really hard for you to follow me, but the things that I want to share to you guys, yes, the thing that I want to share to you is, if the company didn't consider about ESG, it will affect their financial, like this one. So we will get questions why ESG really matters. How can we know that ESG can affect our financial? This is what happens in a company when they don't consider about their ESG in their company, in their corporate strategy. Next. Yeah, as I said before, ESG really important. And then I will share to you also that ESG has significant positive impact. What is the impact? The first one is corporate reputations. As what we just see before about FB, that lose their reputations because the data security is not safe. So the reputation is get low and fail. Now, if we consider about the ESG, we will keep our corporate reputation. Also, we will do risk reduction, and then also opportunity management and culture and intrinsic value. If we do the ESG, we will get this one. And what the effect of this one? The first one is we will enhance customer and investors acquisition, reduce disruptions and losses, greater workforce productivity and organization resilience, and identifications of new market, customers, products, service, revenue streams. Okay. I will explain in another slide. Yeah. So my question is, what is ESG? Can someone please comment in the chat box? What is ESG? Why it is really important? What is really something that company consider in their... Can someone please comment what is ESG? What is E? What is S? What is G? Yes. Environmental, social, and governance. Okay, so any one of you, I think, already familiar with ESG. Next slide, please. Yes, so ESG. ESG, E for environmental, S for social, G for governance. So as you can see in this slide, environmental, social, and governance, it is a pillar. We call it pillar. And then in each pillar, there is a material topics, as you can see. In environmental, there is energy use and efficiency, climate change strategy, waste reduction, and etc. In social, like fair pay and living wages, equal employment opportunity, employee benefits, workplace health and safety, community engagement. And then in governance, there is corporate governance, risk management, compliance, ethical business practices. And you can see all these material topics in GRI. So a company will save if they consider all of this material topic in their corporate strategy. So please next. Yeah. How we integrate ESG into corporate strategy. Does anyone familiar with sustainability report? Have you ever heard about that? Or this is something new? Yes, I have. Okay. Okay. Can someone please maybe like one sentence, like what is sustainability report, you think? What is sustainability report? What data that you can get if you read company sustainability report? For example, in the top left, as you can see, this is sustainability report from BCA, and then in the middle, It is from Unilever, and then the right one, in the top right, sustainability report from Gojek, Philip Morris, and then Pertamina. Okay, I will read. This document that discloses an organization's performance across ESG factors. Okay. Yeah. Yes, thank you so much for the answers, everyone. And also I want to, okay. Yes, okay. So the sustainability report is published publicly in their website, so everyone can see that, like investors or maybe their customers can see what is this company's targets related to ESG. Next, yeah. And then my question is ESG report mandatory? Can someone please answer this question? I think this is, I don't know if you know about this one. Do you know that it is mandatory or not? Maybe I can also ask Rehan. Do you think this is mandatory?
Wow, straight to the gun. Okay,
Okay.
I think it is mandatory, but
Mhm.
I don't know if there's a certain criteria, as in does a company needs to be this big to then consider about ESG? Because I don't know if small companies or
Yes.
startups is mandatory to report it. I think that's my
Okay.
answer.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I get your point. Maybe I will ask one more people, yeah. Don't be afraid, everyone, yeah. I see Dian Gracia. Do you think this is mandatory ESG report?
Okay, so I guess it is mandatory because I think this report is yeah, one of um what can I say? Yeah, this is mandatory for especially for a big or large company that um yes.
Okay, so
Sorry, God.
okay, both of the two people said it is. Yeah, okay, especially for large companies or public company. Yeah, all of you are really smart here. Yeah, next please. Yeah, so ESG reporting is mandatory for public companies. I see someone answer this question in chat box. It is based on OJK regulation. So this is not what I say, not what investors say. This is for regulations. This is mandatory for public companies. So the question is, if kiosks, is it mandatory for kiosks? Of course not, yeah, because they are not a public companies. So this is the answer. So you will know, all of us know which one is the big companies, and all of that big companies need to make their sustainability report. It means that there are a lot of chance for us to know what is ESG because companies needs us to make their sustainability report. Next slide, please. Yeah. How do we integrate ESG into corporate strategy? So at the first one, because the output of this in a document is sustainability report. But how do we make a sustainability report? For the first one, we need to align it with the reporting standards and also frameworks. As you can see, there are a lot of, for example, GRI, BRSR, this one for India. And then we are Indonesia, need OJK. And then the other reporting frameworks will be TCFD, ISO, and then also United Nations Global Impact. And about the global goals and principles, there is Greenhouse Gas Protocol, SDGs, PRI. And also company also do the ratings from third party like MSCI, Sustainalytics, Bloomberg, EcoVadis, and they need to verify some data that they have. For example, I can say to verify the GHG calculations that the companies do. For example, from accountability or another like yeah, this for this one accountability AA 1000 AS. Now, how do we integrate ESG? For the first one, like in the what write down there, strategic alignment. We need to embed ESG in mission, vision, and company values to reflect sustainability at the core of business decisions. I will show you later how we will do it. And then the second, materiality assessment. Materiality, like I shared before, there is a material topic. So we need to assess which ESG issues most relevant to our industry, operation, and stakeholders. And then the third, cross-functional involvement, integrate ESG priorities across all departments, and then KPI integration. Tie ESG goals to performance reviews, incentives, and executive compensations. So if we need to make a sustainability report, there are a lot of things that we need to consider for this for the frameworks, for the standards, and then also for the global goals principle. We need to apply our companies in the third party for doing the ratings, ESG ratings, and then also we need to verify our calculations related to ESG data. Next. Okay. Next, how do we how to identify ESG material topic? This is the first one. Integrate sustainability goals with companies' corporate strategy and Indonesian's regulations. That's the first one. What company do if you are a consultant? And then the second one, choose suitable ESG standard and frameworks. For example, if you are in Indonesia, you need to the frameworks in Indonesia like OJK and then also international, GRI, TCFD, IFRS. You can see from your investor perspective also, and then you can see from your peers. Like the next slide, identify the most relevant ESG topic and benchmark from peers. As you can see in here, I give example, there is Shopee. And if you want to do the if you want to identify your peers, you will see the same industry like Shopee, the same with the Tokopedia or Lazada, and then you can see their sustainability report, and then you can compare each of all of the ESG targets that they have. Next. Okay, I have a case here. This is Unilever. I think every one of you know Unilever. So if you see from their website, Unilever, what is their corporate strategy? Their corporate strategy is they say that our goal is to deliver best-in-class performance with market making and missupply superior brands. And then our regulations for Indonesian, there is OJK regulation. And then after that, like I said before, you have to use a suitable ESG standard. My question is, how do you know what ESG standard that Unilever used in their sustainability report? Does anyone knows that? How can we know what standard that Unilever used for their sustainability report? Maybe one of you can help me to answer that. Okay. Can I ask one participants, like I will ask Rayhan, maybe you can help me choose one of them. Oh, okay. Oh, there is someone raising hand. Okay, I will give it to you, Dian.
Maybe I guess Unilever using Global Reporting Initiative or GRI standards, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it is written here. And then my question is, how do you know if Unilever used GRI? Where do you find that?
So we can know that's from the report.
Okay. Yes. Great answer. So it is true. If you want to know what ESG standards that companies use, you can open their sustainability report. There is index in the sustainability report. And for example, I screenshot in here. Unilever use GRI and also POJK. And then the third one, they determine the ESG material topic. Okay, after they do the steps that I mentioned before, so this is the result of the ESG material topic that Unilever used for their sustainability. For example, responsible plastic and waste management within the company and the community, people's health and well-being, including improving dignity, positive nutrition, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So all these 9 material topic was used based on. Excuse me, can someone help me with the previous slide? Yeah, based on this step, after they do with the corporate strategy, and then based on Indonesian regulations, based on the ESG standard and framework, and the last one based on the benchmark. For example, for Unilever, the benchmark, maybe you can say PNG and the other things. Next. Yeah. And also there is something new in Indonesia. There are carbon trading. So it is from IDX Carbon. So people, or not people, company can join in this carbon trading if they already calculate their emissions, and then they can involve in this. There are a lot of steps in here. I just want to show you about there are carbon trading that will open, that will establish in Indonesia. Next. Okay. Nah, this is a bit practical again. I have a questions in here. Please imagine and put yourself as a sustainability manager. And then if you are in Unilever company, how do you do benchmarking from your peers? Let's say PNG in here. Related to the ESG. Their waste impact, okay. Does anyone else want to answer these questions in chat box? Okay, their company ESG reports. PL Jason, can you please open mic maybe? Because I have another additional question.
Sure, Kak. That's all good.
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. I cannot see. Oh, yeah. Okay. What data that you will look for or search in ESG report to do the benchmarking?
Of course, I'm not really experienced in this field, so please enlighten me after, Kak Rugun. But if I were Unilever, I would look at their output, of course, like how many waste do they produce for operations, and also what standards or KPIs have they accomplished for their report. I guess that would be my answer.
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much, Jason. Other participants want to give another answers? Maybe Hadian from Unbrau, do you want to give answers?
Maybe
how do
Kak,
you? Mm-hmm.
I think I still have no idea, Kak.
Oh, it's okay. Okay, I will give you the answers next. Okay, everyone. So, like the slide before, we need to do the benchmarking with our peers or competitors, so we will know which parts of ESG pillars or topics that we need to increase if we compare to our competitors or peers. Next, please. Yeah, the first one, analyze and compare the data. Yeah, like Jason said, he said like KPIs and bang. Yeah, you can do quantitative analysis, you can do qualitative analysis. For the quantitative, like you can see the emissions intensity, diversity rates with your peers, and then for the qualitative, you can see with policies they look up, and then strategies, and also what commitments they do, and then tools to use ESG dashboard. Maybe you can use Tableau, Power BI, and S&P Global Ratings. And the other things is you need to identify gaps and adopt best practice. I hope you can get the pictures of how consultants do if they do the benchmarking with their peers. Next slide. Okay. So this is the digital innovations for ESG tools for a sustainable futures. In this today's world, actually there are a lot of ESG digital platform. For example, there is Climatic, True Climate. True Climate is from Indonesia. Persephone, I guess I think it is from United States. Maybe, but we will check later. And then also satu platform, the place where I worked before, IBM, Microsoft Sustainability, Jejakin, Veratmos, Greenly. Has any one of you ever heard about one of these companies? I think IBM is really familiar, like True Climate or Jejakin, Veratmos, because it is from Indonesia. Now, the things that I want to share in here, if you visit their website, they have digital platform that help companies to make that help companies to count their GHG emissions, that help companies to make ESG report in a digital platform. I will show you one of the platform that I can share. And also you can use digital innovations like data analysis, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud-based ESG platform. Next slide, please. Yeah, as you can see, this is one of the ESG platform. This is how it looks. For example, this is company dashboard. There is a total emissions, number of employees, emissions per employee. This is just an example, yeah, everyone. Yeah, this is plan A. I'm not the staff in this company, but just want to give you a pictures. What does ESG platform look like? They have this kind, and then some of the platform will be something that can show you the number of each topics in ESG pillars that I shared before. So this is how it looks like, and how company built this platform, and how the company to make it more easier. Because if we want to input the data of ESG, there are a lot of departments that will be involved to get to input the data. Next. Okay. And business ideas for you. To be honest, I don't know what steps are you in right now in these competitions, but maybe you can use these ideas in these competitions, or maybe after this, if you want to be a sociopreneur or maybe entrepreneur. For example, to count GHG is really complicated, to be honest, sometimes. Moreover, for new company, and a lot of company right now still count and measure their emissions using manual platform, and there are a lot of an opportunity for you to develop the digital platform to count GHG in a company. Maybe I don't tell you detail before. In one of the pillar in environment, there is emissions. And if we want to calculate the emissions, we have to know and to calculate all the scope in the companies. There is scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. What is that? That's really complicated, but I want to make it easy for you to understand. So all the operations in company, we need to calculate how much emissions that they produce in all the business change. whether it is direct from the companies or maybe from their suppliers or maybe from the customers, something like that. So you can make a digital platform to calculate the emissions. And then the second one's what I can do as a young people, maybe you can make a product to reduce emissions. What is that, like a solar panel or another technology that help these companies to reduce their emissions? And then the third one, there are also platform like carbon market digital platform. So you make a platform that have news or informations about so we can transaction, there are transactionals in carbon. And also maybe you can make an IoT. So I see there is a gap in companies where companies really hard to collect their data about ESG. So you can make an IoT, how to read the data from PLN's data, so we can just read the data in our dashboard, something like that. So there are a lot of chance for us to make ideas in this ESG. Next. Okay, so this is one of the example, everyone, that I can share to you. I am currently a co-founder in FSMA, and just a few weeks ago, I shared our ideas in front of mayors, cities, 10 cities in Indonesia. So what I'm doing here, giving a solutions towards the sustainability. So what I want to point you here is you don't have to make a business like, oh, only ESG platforms like ESG dashboard. Not only that, you can also make solutions for other things. For example, in this one, we built water recycling unit. And what is the connection between water recycling unit and the sustainability? Because it will save clean water usage up to 40%, and then reduce carbon emissions 12 until 70% compared to unsafe sanitation infrastructure, and scale up safe sanitation, safe and sustainable sanitation cost effectively than sewer system if we're talking about the wastewater management. This one, what I want to share to you, my juniors in here, there are a lot of chance for us to make an ideas and innovations that can help a company to reduce emissions or to help the governments to achieve their sustainable development goals. So there's a lot of ideas about it if you want to solve one of the problems. Next. Okay. Can someone please back to the slides before? Yeah. The other things that I want to share, because our topic here about digital things, in here, as you can see, there are the dashboard in here. So we connect how we read the data from the water recycling unit. This one is water recycling unit. Sorry, I think I need a pointer here. Oh, no. Yeah. So we make a sensor and IoT things. We make a sensor to read the quality of the waste of the treated water can be read in a dashboard in here. So we just want to make sure that the treated wastewater can be used by the users again for the toilet flushings or for the watering the plants, and to make them trust about this data, we have a platform that they can access by mobile phone, and also they can access by the dashboard on their PC, so they can know about the quality of the treated water. So it is about the digital things too. And then next. Yeah. This is I think my two last slide. Skills for future ESG oriented leaders. If you want to be a leaders that have a mind ESG oriented, the first thing that I want to say is you have to have a patience and commitment to sustainability. You have to have the reasons why do you do this? Like the questions Rehan asked me before. Um, why do you have a heart in sustainability? Why? Because sometimes we just only think about financial. But if we think about, as I said before in the earlier, there is a connections between the ESG, sustainability, and the financials in the companies. So if you have more knowledge about sustainability, you will understand this is not about sustainability. This is also about how we keep companies financial. So we need to know about sustainability. And the second things you have to eager to learn, because ESG is still new in this today's world. Not really new, but new. So you have to eager to learn about the regulations, about the frameworks, the new frameworks, everything. You just need to do that. Ability to adapt, critical thinking, because you need to, for the things that we have done before, when we are doing to determine the ESG material topics, we need to have a critical thinking and then stakeholder engagement. If our company is still new, we need to have an ability to a stakeholder engagement, because we need to meeting and we need to discuss what ESG materials that really need, whether that from our investors or our customers. Systems thinking, supply chain management and sustainability, and then data analytics and ESG reporting. Next slide, please. Yeah. To make it more fun, I have one questions for all the participants in here. You can read this case, and because I know share values, you have consulting things ability. So I want to ask any one of you, does anyone can give an answer? Which company will have higher climate risk and why? So there is two company A and company B, where company A that has asset factory adjacent to port terminal. Jadi dia di sebelah port terminal in Jakarta, while the company B also adjacent to port terminal in Surabaya. So in climate, there is two risks, physical risk and transition risk. If physical risk, it is like natural disaster, like this one, acute weather hazard, chronic weather hazard, sea level rise. But the transition risk, it is talking about the policy changes, about how consumer think about our business. And then there is an exposure, facility level, and also the corporate level. And then there is a vulnerability for facility level and also corporate level. I will give you time, 2 minutes, to think about which company will have higher climate risk. And if one of you already have the answer, you can answer in chat box or maybe raise your hands. Okay, Hadian already answered. Company has higher climate risk. Company B. Okay. Does anyone want to say company A? Okay, it seems like everyone answers company B, yeah. I think okay, I need one of you give me the reason so I choose company A. Maybe Haidian, you want to answer because you're smiling, I see.
Okay, Kak. I think because company B, like in transition risk, company B have using coal and company A use natural gas. It means like in climate risk, like in natural gas, is just like an ordinary emission, but with coal, it has higher emission and it have more risk to get carbon tax. So I think it's one of the reason why company B is more have higher climate risk.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Hadian. Okay, does anyone want to add another reason that different from Hadian? Maybe I will ask. I want to hear. Okay, wait. Muhammad Guntur. Because you said company B, do you have another reason different from Hadian? Or maybe I will ask someone. Can I ask our wonderful MC here, Rico here? Hi, Rico.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any other insight? By
I think
company
I
B.
sum. Yes, I think I sum the answer with happy, and then company B will have higher climate risk.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, this is company B because the physical risk and transitions risk is bigger with inadequate events. Okay, I think every one of you smart enough and you can right away to be a consultant in a consulting firm or maybe in a company. Yeah, so company B have higher climate risk. So everyone, in this case, why do I give you a case here? So you have a pictures. What will come? What the effect in a company if they didn't do the climate risk? If they didn't do the assessment about this one? If they aware about their physical risk, if they are aware about their transition risk, it makes company more mature in making a strategy towards it. For example, company B didn't have company B has an inadequate flood pumps. However, company B really close to adjacent to port terminal in Surabaya. And as you can see in hazard for company B, they have acute weather hazard floods, but they didn't have inadequate flood pumps, right? So it means that it is really dangerous for company B if they didn't do any strategy towards it. And that's why, like I said before, if a company already understand about their position and also they are aware about the climate risk, they do the physical risk, transitions risk, and also another things in another material topics in ESG, it will make a company more sustainable. And then if a company more sustainable, it will make the investor trust them more, and also with the customer, the consumers trust their product itself, something like that. Okay, I think that's my excuse me. Can someone please do the next slide? I forget. Okay. Yeah, back to the slide, the previous slide. Yeah, I think that's how I can share to you how important ESG, why ESG really matters in nowadays in a company, in a corporate, how we do the ESG reporting, what was ESG platforms looks like. So you have a pictures in that, and then it is really important for you. And I'm so proud of the participants here. So you are really aware about the importance of ESG here. Please keep update yourself because there are a lot of something news in ESG, something like that. And I know I'm faster than the time that was given, but I will give it to Rehan first so I can have a communications with the participants here.
Okay, thank you so much, Karugun. That was an incredibly insightful presentation. Can I get a round of applause and a round of reactions in the chat for our dear speaker, Karugun? Okay, I think your work truly embodies the theme of empowering global impact, mastering technology and digital innovation. And if I can, I'd like to recap the material that you just mentioned to us. So, um, in short, you gave us an introduction to what is Indonesia's commitment in the ESG section, and you also said that ESG is something that is important because it'll impact a company's financial as well, and it is important also in regards to their corporate reputation. And then reducing their risk, it also opens up opportunity, and also it increases culture and intrinsic value. And after that, you also stated that companies that are mandatory to follow the ESG are companies that have go public. And that's where you, Karugun, as an ESG consultant, comes in, to help them make their reports and also improve their um, sustainability. And you also gave a really helpful tip for us since IBCC's case is regarding the topic of ESG. You gave us a step by step on how we can identify an ESG topic. We start from identifying the sustainability goal, and then we choose the framework. And I think you've stated a couple of sources from global goals like GRI and ICO. You also mentioned reporting frameworks that we can use from greenhouse gas protocols and things like that. And I think that will be helpful because one of the biggest uh, obstacle when working on a case like this is getting hands-on into the what materials can we learn from. So knowing which platforms or knowing which places we can look into and tap into those information is really helpful. And you also said about how we can benchmark against other companies. You can analyze their data, you can utilize tools. And it was also really interesting to hear that there are ESG specific digital tools that we can use. And you also gave us solutions that maybe we can use in our case, like IoT, GHG, product, and things like that. I think this is really helpful for all of the participants in their upcoming business case competition. Okay, I think without holding back, I'd like to open the floor for questions. Um, if you have anything to ask to Karugun for all the participants, this is your moment to ask. You can just raise your hand in 3, 2, 1. Okay, and before I open the floor again, I'd like to ask Karugun. Would Karugun like to directly answer the question, or would you like us to hold the questions first, and then once all the questions are stated, I'll give them to you?
Yeah, maybe we can collect the questions first and then I can answer that.
Okay, thank you, Karugun. Okay, since Karugun's prefer for us to hold the questions first, does anyone have a questions they want to ask? Okay. If any of you wants to ask a question, you can just raise your hand, unmute your mic, give a quick intro, and then go ahead with your question. I think this is really great session since you all are going to be working on an ESG case, and when else can you talk directly to an ESG consultant right here, right now? Okay. I think while waiting for the questions, I myself have a couple of questions for you, Karugun. I think I was more intrigued on in reality, since you've handled many cases before, how aware are businesses regarding ESG in Indonesia? And also, since you've handled previous cases before, I'd really like to ask, what are the usual common obstacles that companies face when trying to implement a better ESG solution?
Okay, thank you, Rehan. Should I answer right now? Okay, because while waiting other participants to ask, okay, I can answer your questions. For the first one, the second one's what is my obstacle? By the way, I have when in time I work in satu platform as corporate relationship managers. I talk a lot with many company because we over about our ESG platform. I explain to them this is our platform that will help you to calculate your GHG or emissions. And then what happens is actually there are still a lot of companies still new in this ESG. For example, it is really hard for, I think number one and number two is quite the same. Yeah, I mean, like I will combine that answers. I will combine the answers in my question in my answers. So, what's company's obstacle is it's really hard for the company to collect the data. For example, they need to calculate emissions from the electricity. The electricity it is in scope 2, by the way. Yeah, but how do they collect the data from all their companies in subsidiary? I mean, if their company, let's say, I will give you an example, Unilever. How many Unilever's company in Indonesia? I mean, the store. How many the building? Yeah, and it makes a company really hard to collect all the data from their subsidiary, anak perusahaan mereka, to collect them in one data. That's really hard for them to collect them. That's the first one. And then also from the suppliers. For example, Unilever again. Unilever doesn't produce all their product by themselves, right? I mean, like there are suppliers who help them to make the product. And then how do we collect the emissions data from our suppliers because it is outside from our company? So the second obstacle is to collect data from the suppliers. And then the third one, it is inside the company. Even in the company, our department don't really understand about ESG. And some of the company that I saw, they are just make a team for ESG, like really, really new. Some of the company like established their ESG team 1 month ago, 2 years ago, and 1 month ago, 1 years. I think is really matures. Yeah, they don't really understand about that. That's why many companies hire consultant to help the ESG stuff, something like that. And okay, the obstacle that I saw in the company was that it's really hard to collect the data because it is really large, really huge. It will affect our suppliers, it will affect also our subsidiaries, how we combine that data. It's really challenging. And also the internal team, some of our team is really, if we talk about internal, yeah, some of the team is really new with this ESG, so sometimes we need to yes, for the new people we need to explain that. And also in ESG we need data from another department, for example HR, not only ESG team. Sometimes it is challenging for ESG team. We need to explain to them why do we need their help to help us to collect the data. So we need to engage another departments. We will explain to them, we need your help because we are collecting data for ESG, for sustainability report. We need to explain to them why do we need their help. If you get what I mean, Rehan. Yeah. That's I see the obstacle. And then some of the company I see, it is really hard to get the emission factor. So when we want to calculate the emission, it is really hard to get the emissions factors, because sometimes the product that was given to us, there are no emissions factors in that. So we need to look in the public or even in a paper, just looking for the emissions factors. So yeah, that's first. So I can say business in Indonesia is still new with ESG, even there are a lot of public company. That's why they hire a lot of consultants. But I also can see that many companies are growing, their team become bigger, their team become understand about ESG, and sometimes they do it internally without consulting now. I also see some of the company like that, but still a really small, a really small company who already do that in the independent. That's my answers, Rehan.
Okay, thank you, Karagun. That was very informative. I think so. Basically, from what I heard from you, is that a lot of the company in Indonesia are still very new regarding this whole ESG thing, and the biggest problem that usually companies face are how do they collect all of their data regarding emissions and things like that, especially when it comes to other suppliers, because it is external. We also don't know how they process their things, how they capture their data, and that should be something that we consider too. And also being cross-functional, since we need to involve a lot of other departments in our strategies coming forward. That's also something we need to look out for. And also the emissions factor, ya, Kak. I think this is something I want to ask further, if I may. If I may ask one more question, is when you say emissions factor, what does emission factor means, Kak?
Okay. Yeah. So for example, do you know if you want to make mobile phone, if we want to make a mobile phone, there is emissions that was produced while making this phone. And how do we know? How do we calculate how much emissions that we produce if we buy this one phone? So we need to calculate that. There is GHG protocol. That's a book to help us how to calculate how much emissions that produce. And if we want to calculate this, how much the emissions that was produced, we need to know emissions factors. So the emissions factors is faktor pengali that we can use to calculate how much the emissions that we produce. If you wait, I'm still thinking to help you easier to understand that. Okay, in electricity, do you know electricity that was produced by PLN? And there are also electricity by solar panel, right? So emissions factor is a number that was counted by scientists, or maybe already based on the scientists, and also based on based on the research, how much the emissions that we produce. For example, electricity from PLN, emissions factor in each area is different. For example, in Jakarta, how much the emissions factor? I don't really remember about the number. Let's say 0.8. So if 0.8 the emissions factors, we need to calculate that, mengalikannya dengan how much electricity that we use in this month. So the result will be that's amount of the emissions that we produce in this month for the electricity. So it is just a number that was given from the scientists based on the research to help you, to make you easier to calculate how much emissions that was produced. That's it.
Okay, I see, Kak. So it's like a measure of count, ya, Kak, that we can use.
Yeah.
I see.
And,
Okay.
and that's really specific. That's why if you want to make a business, if you want to make a platform, it is really helpful for the company if we already save all the emissions factors, because every product have their emissions factors. Electricity, or maybe a product,
Okay, thank you, Karagun. That was very informative. This is the first time I heard about this thing called emissions factor. Okay, I can talk about it and on and without stopping, but I think I want to give the floor to the participants. Any of the participants have a question they'd like to ask? I think I've warmed enough the stage. Okay, we have Ataya Akbar. Um, Ataya Akbar, you can unmute your mic and then you can give a quick intro about yourself and then go ahead with your question.
Okay, thank you so much, Karayan, for the opportunity. So hi, Karogun. My name is Ataya, and I'm from Brawijaya University. I wanna ask something that is related to our competition, which is IBCC. So usually, in order to create an executive summary in an IBCC competition, we need some journals or papers to use them as references, right, for our paper. So I wanna ask, from your perspective, how important is a company's sustainability report to be used as a reference for our paper? Thank you so much, Kak.
Okay.
Okay, Karogun, do you want to answer the question straight ahead, or do you want to hear what Atari Gibran wants to ask and then?
I want to hear Atarik question.
Okay, thank you, Atarik. Atarik, you can go ahead and say your
Okay,
question.
thank you, Karahan, for the opportunity. And hello, Karogun. My name is Gibran from Universitas Brawijaya. I am an economic student, and I would like to go to the question, ya, Kak. Since you mentioned about carbon trading, I would like to uh, know the development of carbon trading in Indonesia. That, yeah, of course, contributing to the country ESG goals, Kak. Like how is the development uh this factual and actual state right now in 2025. And as a follow-up question, I would also like to know what are the challenges remain in aligning carbon market mechanisms with broader environmental and governance standards, Kak. I think that's all for my question, and I would like to hear your answers, Karugun. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gibran, and thank you, Ataya, for the question. And maybe I can recap the questions first for Karugun. So basically, Ataya, and also correct me if I was wrong. You wanted to ask about if the executive summary in your competition needs a reference and if you can use a reference from another's company, ESG. Was that correct? Okay, and also Griban asked a question about carbon trading. You wanted to know how has the development in Indonesia have been, and if there are any challenges regarding the implementation in Indonesia. Was that correct? Okay, I'll give the session to you, Karogun. You can answer the question.
Okay, thank you so much for the questions. Yes, the first for the first questions is, I can say it is different between paper and sustainability report, right? If you want to use paper, you can use paper, in my opinion. So it is a different one. But if you want to use sustainability report, it is not as a paper, but as a study case. If you want to make something in your story, in your your solutions, so you cannot use sustainability report as a paper. It is a different thing, yeah, because SR sustainability report is a report, while paper is a paper. So you just can use that as a study case or an example in your solutions. What's the name? Who's the name who asked that question, Rehan?
It was Ataya, Kak.
Ataya. Okay, Ataya. Interesting. Okay, the second question is quite yeah, I hope I can answer that questions. By the way, I want to give you explanations a bit that ESG is really huge, really big. That's why in a company, sometimes there are in ESG team, they also divide the team in SR team, sustainability report team, who the team who focus making an SR, and also there are a team that focus on like carbon trading. So they have their own focus. Even there are 3 sub departments in a ESG departments. About Atari questions regarding the how carbon trading in Indonesia. All that I know, maybe if someone another students want to add, it's okay. All I know, Indonesia is still progressing to make it clear. So we call it IDX Carbon. IDX Carbon have responsibility to make these things happen. So all the companies right now can do the carbon trading. And the last news that I know, one of BUMN in Indonesia tried to do these transactions in IDX Carbon. And I think this is still new and not really mandatory for the company. But if the company has produced emissions beyond the capacity, they need to do the offset. I hope I don't use another new terms, do the offset or another things. I mean like this. From the last news that I know, the industry that was regulated by company is batubara, something like that. They have their limit emissions that they produce in as a company. So they have the maximum capacity. If they exceed the maximum capacity based on the regulations, they will get the tax or they need to do the offset, something like that. Now that's why IDX Carbon try to open this, and some of the company who do not reduce emissions, for example, company who menanam pohon, you know, that they will menyerap carbon, they not produce carbon, so they can do transaction, whether it is from IDX Carbon or maybe just do it right away with the company. But there are a lot of they're quite complex, but I can share to you guys about how in Indonesia I have a presentations that I can share to you. Yeah, so this one I get from IDX Carbon about the news, how in Indonesia currently, how we are doing. It is still something new. So they say still opportunities in Indonesia. We get this, I get this source information from one of the team in IDX Carbon. Wait, I will just show you the, yeah, they still building the mechanism, how the carbon exchange will. They will involve KLHK, Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup. Okay, and in here also there is, like I said before, this is cap and trade. I don't know if you are still new this one. This is cap and trade. So, and the other one is carbon offsetting. So there is 2 mechanism that IDX Carbon building right now. So what is cap and trade? The cap and trade is like you see in here. There is a regulations from the company that there is the maximum capacity of the emissions that are allowed for the company to produce. If they exceed the capacity, so they will get the tax. So they will get the tax from the company. And all I know, the tax hasn't applied in here, but they are still building that. And for the one, and if you can see in the right one, offsetting. Now, in this offsetting, even Indonesian regulation still developing, but I saw many company also doing this with another companies outside in Indonesia. Yeah, because carbon trading also applied in globally, Atarik. Jadi you don't have, if Indonesia still doing it and still building this one, but some of the companies applied this with globally also. Yeah, the point is that IDX Carbon still building this one. They already give explanations about cap and trade, how the tax, how the carbon offset, and they already still building and still make it more tough for the company to do the carbon trading itself. Nah, as you can see in here, listed projects. So in IDX Carbon, like PLN and also Pertamina, they also give their data to IDX Carbon just to show the buyers maybe who want to buy how much they can do the carbon trading itself. Yeah, and I think you can also get this data from IDX Carbon. And this is quiet, so many things. This is not really my capacity, but I can just give you a bit pictures of it, how Indonesia still doing this one. Okay, thanks. I hope I can answer your question, ya, Tarik, ya.
Okay, thank you, Karagun, for the
Okay.
answer. This was a really deep topic. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd like to recap your answer. I think first, for Ataya's question, so it is not tidak didukung untuk to use other company ESG as a source of reference, but you can use it as a study case. And for the second question is regarding the carbon trading. The development is still in the mechanism phase. They're still making the mechanism, and so far there has been two mechanisms that the Indonesian Stock Exchange have stated. There's the cap and trade, and also the baseline and crediting. And correct me if I'm wrong, Eka, but I think if I can put it in a layman's term, the cap and trade is basically if a companies exceed their emission, it'll be something that can be taxed by the government. Okay. And on the second one, the baseline and crediting, it was more of they can offset the carbon emission they have made by pursuing green projects.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Did that answer your question, Gibran and Nataya? If you think it answered, you can open your mic and say that.
Okay, thank you, Karugun and Karehan. I am really satisfied with the answer, and thank you for reminding me with the current state of Indonesia and its attempts to develop this especially in these carbon markers, ya, Kak. But I would like to confirm, is there any chance for me or maybe for us to access this IDX, or this is just all of this just for segmented only?
Oh, okay. You mean about the information?
Yeah, the IDX carbon itself, Kak.
You can access that. You can access about that informations. They're really open, by the way. So if you, I don't know what is your intentions about this, but if you want to build something, I think IDS, because they are still building this one, they are still open with this. They also sering ya give a webinar about this, how Indonesians, how IDX still building this one and really open about this one, because many companies still confused about this one too. That's why they often to give a webinar to give explanations what the steps, how can we involve in carbon trading, because they cannot just go to IDX Carbon, they have to go to KLHK first. Yeah, like they need to to apply some things. Yeah, there is a scheme about this one, and then after it, as you can see, they need to go to KLHK first, and then after KLHK give a document, then they go to the IDX carbon, something like that. So it's really, really open. I think in Indonesia, you can access that in the website. Yeah, and then you can just follow if they have a webinar for public.
Okay, how was the answer, Gibran? Was that satisfactory?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, we are going to use this to what do you call for a kajian sih. And then yeah, I think that's all. Thank you for the opportunity, Kak Rugun and Kak Rehan. I'll I'll see you guys next time, guys.
Okay, thank you, Gibran. I think you have a lot of homework to do, yeah, to really understand this topic. So best of luck to you. Okay, interesting one, Kak Rugun. Someone gave me a question to ask to you from the direct message. It is from Aziz from Brawijaya University. Wanted to ask this. It's a bit of a long question. I want to ask about industrial sector economic priority. If I am given a case to consider a device which is expensive but clean and sustainable, rather than me having to contribute 80% of greenhouse gases in the industrial sector, for example, CO2, would I be more concerned about environmental health than economic benefits? I think I would need an answer from an industrial realistic point of view.
Okay, thank you. Is there another question? I will read the questions once more again, yeah, because it is in chat.
I think.
That's the only one.
Sorry?
Is there another question?
Wait. Okay. We have another one from Muhammad Guntur. He cannot open his mic, but the question is, how can IoT help companies accurately, in real time, track their carbon footprint, especially in industries that face challenges with limited digital infrastructure?
Wow. Okay. Tricky question.
Okay.
So they have a limited digital information?
Limited digital infrastructure.
Okay. Where can I access the questions?
I think both of these are directly mentioned to me, but I can give you.
Yeah, you can give it to me.
Okay, I'll give it in the.
I will read the questions from Putri, yeah. Excuse me, I want to ask about industrial sector economic priority. Okay. If I'm given a case to consider a device which is expensive but clean and sustainable, rather than me having to contribute 80% of greenhouse gases in industrial sector, for example, carbon dioxide, would I be more concerned about environmental health and economic benefits? I think I need an answer from an industrial realistic box. Thank you, Kak. Okay. About this one, I think okay. If we are in a company, what we need to consider, Putri, we have customers and we have investors, to be honest. That's another point of view that we can consider regarding about the economic priority. So for example, if our customers really aware about the sustainability for a long this time, yeah, maybe we can consider about using the more expensive one. But if our market of our company like more choosing the choosing the more not expensive price. I think we need also to think about that because you say economic priority, right? Yeah, because if we sell our products, it is also talking about how much consumer that will use our products. So we need to consider also with that. If our buyer or consumer will choose the more sustainable products, we choose that products. But if our consumers really choose the price is lower, even though they know that it will produce bigger greenhouse gases, as a company who want to profit, they will use what the market wants. And also, you need to consider the investor. There are some investors, so company get their funding from the investor. So some of the investor really, really concerned about ESG. If they know that our products will produce big greenhouse gases, they don't want to give or they don't want to lend us the money. So we have to know our consumer, we have to know also our investors itself. And then as a company, you will decide which one will more benefit to our company. Okay. And then Rehan, can you oh yeah, okay.
Okay. Do you want me to recap the previous answer first, Kak, before we move on again to the next question?
Okay, yeah. Yes,
Okay,
please.
so what I've heard for you is that we have to think about the investors in our company and also about what the market wants. So in this case, if we're talking about should we consider a more expensive but clean and sustainable solution, back again, think about the investors. Do they want to lend us the money if we do go with the product that is not quote unquote sustainable? And if we do proceed with the quote unquote sustainable product, would that be something that the market wants? Or would that be something that the market will shy away from since it's more expensive?
Yes.
And I think that's something that you really need to consider. I guess perhaps maybe there's just a quick idea. I guess one of the ways you can mengambil jalan tengah ya Kak, dalam artian itu try to create awareness first about why the company is transitioning to a better product. So, because then you'd be open to another new market, and then you can go ahead with the product that is better in terms of sustainability. But in this case, it won't be something that will be a shock to the previous customers since it has already been educated to the consumers first. I guess
Yeah.
that's one of the
Yes.
ways that we can do it.
I also want to add something. You also need to know your peers or your competitors. If you have competitors that have a lower price, but they also more sustainability, wow, that's really challenging. And that's why I think it is really, we need to know more. We have to know our market, our investor, our peers, and the regulations itself. Because if we choose the more cheap one, but the regulations have a strict one, so we need to know about that. And the next questions, okay. The question is, how can IoT help companies accurately in real time track their carbon footprint, especially in industry that face challenges with limited digital? I think this is how to say, like, okay, Internet of Things. Yeah, for me, if you ask this first, we need to make a provisions for how the company get the access with the internet first. That's the first one, and then the second one. Of course, this company need funding to make them have a access with the digital infrastructure first. Yeah, because we need digital to make an IoT things so we can track the real time. So if you ask me how, of course, this is an internet things. It means that we need cloud. We cannot do it like an offline. Maybe there is something an offline things, but as the name Internet of Things, we need to make to the provisions of the internet in that company, and also we need funding first to provide the digital infrastructures in that company. Yeah, that's for me. What's the name? I don't know. Who's
Okay,
giving?
thank you for the answer. That
Yeah.
question was from Guntur Irwansyah
Okay,
from
thank you.
Polinema. Okay, I think if I can recap your answer, it's basically about back again, if the company really wants to accurately real-time track, of course, they're gonna need to secure funding. They need to establish first the digital infrastructure, even if it's limited to some degree. Is that the answer, Kak?
Yeah, I mean, they need to collect the funding first for them to make a digital infrastructure.
Okay, because I guess even if there was a quote unquote offline solutions, maybe through
Yeah.
manual, it would still be hard to keep track.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I hope that answers your question, Guntur. Can Guntur confirm to me if that is a suitable answer? Okay, I think while I wait for Guntur's answer, before I give it to Christopher Lawrence, there has been a question that has been sitting in the group chat. It's from Davis Ahmad Zafir. There's a pretty long question, so I think we're gonna strap up. Excuse me, Kak. I want to ask, in today's rapidly evolving business landscape, ESG principles have become central to shaping corporate strategies, especially as stakeholders demand greater accountability, transparency, and long-term value creation. A key, though often overlooked, part of ESG is strong financial management, which is essential for a company to support its environmental and social goals. My question is, how does responsible financial management, such as transparent reporting, ethical capital allocation, and sustainable investments in initiatives like waste management, renewable energy, or circular economy practices, enhance a company's appeal to sustainability-focused investors and long-term strategic partners? Okay.
Wait, I need to read the last statement.
Okay.
How does responsible financial management, such as transparent reporting, ethical capital allocation, and sustainable investment in initiatives like Okay, thank you for the questions. And then maybe I will hear next questions, Rehan.
Okay, thank you, Karugun. So I think the previous question in short is asking about how does transparent or responsible financial management appeals to investors in the long run. I think that's the source of the question. Okay, maybe I'll give it to Christopher Lawrence. If you have a question you want to ask, you can open your mic.
Okay, I wanted to ask Kak, before, since I am a member of Sherpe, I've participated myself in creating like some decks and pitching decking to like previous projects. And I've also like analyzed a couple of company reports. So I want to ask like, it is pretty similar, and I've learned. I'm also from FH. I'm from law, so I pretty much also read a couple of reports like ESG. But from what I read, is the name is like AMDAL. It's like analysis dampak lingkungan or like environmental report, but the name is not ESG, and the format is very different. But what I want to ask is, what is like the point key difference of audit report from the company and ESG report? Because I've read the previous company report of audit report from Unilever. They have like this project called PPLH or something, which is like a project that contributes to the community for sustainability and stuff. And it became inside one with their audit reports. So they practically don't really have a separate ESG report, but please correct me if you know more, please enlighten me. So yeah, what's the difference between audit report and ESG report?
Okay, so if I can recap your question, Christopher Lawrence, you're basically asking what is the point key difference of an audit report from an ESG report. Is that correct? Okay. Would Kak Rugun want to hear what Haya has to ask to you, or do you want to answer the previous two questions first before moving on?
Because I'm still thinking with how to collect the informations, maybe I will hear Haya questions.
Okay, Haya, you may unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, am I audible?
I can hear.
Okay, initially I'd like to say thank you very much for the incredible materialization that delivered before from Kak Ruben, and as more companies and also governments focus on tackling climate change, and then tools like carbon taxes, since I'm a tech student, so I will bring up um, about the carbon tax, are becoming common to reduce emissions. While the environmental benefits are clear, it is important to also consider how a carbon tax can affect the social and governance sides of ESG. These impacts can influence how companies interact with stakeholders, encourage innovation, and so on. With that in mind, I'd like to ask, in what ways can a carbon tax indirectly impact the social and also the governance pillars of ESG? Consider effects on stakeholders, innovation, and also the corporate decision making. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Harda, for the question. I think Haya's question will be our last question for today's Q&A session. So I'd like to recap the three questions that Kak Rugun has to answer. First, it was about how does responsible financial management converts into investors being more involved in the long term, or appeals to investors in the long term. The second was from Lawrence, basically asking what's the point key difference from an ESG, from an audit report to an ESG report. And the third question from Haya was, in what way can carbon tax affect ESG directly?
Okay, thank you so much. I will answer questions from Haya first. Yeah, Haya. So, how does the carbon tax impact the social, or maybe the, or maybe the, or maybe the corporate, or the investors? So, all I can say, this carbon tax is something good, in my perspective as a consultant. Yeah, it is something good because it will limit company to produce their emissions, because there is a standard. If the company exit from the standard, they will get the tax. So it will push the company to to maintain their the maximum emissions that they produce in their business. So the impact also with the, for example, the society, it is a good news, because the companies will reduce the emissions, and then the emissions will be more beat in our lingkungan, in our environment, and then more small pollutions in our Indonesia. So I think that's the answers for Haya. Is that answering your question, Haya?
Okay, Kak, thanks so much. That already answered my question. Once again, thank you, Pak.
Okay. You are really smart, everyone. Yeah, Rehan, your friends, and I think I liked all the questions. And then the questions that I want to answer from Davis, ya tadi ya. Davis, my question, how that's responsible? Yeah. Of course, if the company, if they have transparent reporting, ethical capital allocation, sustainability investment, it will attract, it really will attract investors that really focus on sustainability. They will read it first in the sustainability report, and then it also help the governments to see the company's commitment to. And the most important thing, it will help the investors that focus in sustainability to more commit with this company. Okay, I think yeah. Is it answering your questions, Davis?
Okay, maybe Davis can step up and say if the answer is.
It is really something that align. If we have transparent reporting, it will have, and then also we have initiative like waste management, renewable energy. Of course, really, of course, make the investors who focus in sustainability will more interest in our company.
Okay, thank you, Karugun. Davis just said in the chat that it did answer his question. Thank you very much.
Okay, the last one. Okay,
Last one
last
was
one question.
Lawrence.
What is the difference between sustainability report and audit?
Audit report.
Audit, yeah. Okay. Wait. Audit. Okay. I just heard about the report that you say like AMDAL or maybe pengendalian lingkungan PL something. I also know about the report. So what is the difference? And can I know what's the name who asked these questions?
It was Lawrence, Kak.
Okay,
It's
Lawrence, can I
Lawrence.
know what is your background? I mean, are you from environmental engineering background or law?
I'm from law, just like my
Okay.
name.
Okay. Wow, interesting. Yes, law is so in environment there are like you say AMDAL, analisis mengenai dampak lingkungan. What is that? It is something a company do. They make the report if they have a projects. For example, their projects to make a public, if they want to make a public or a company, they will have an assessment to make sure that their projects do not is safe for the environment. Everything from the pollutions or maybe from the water, the environment aspects. That's the report only for the projects, just to make sure this is based on the regulations about that. It is really different with the sustainability report. So the sustainability report is something that, yeah, we not only see the environment aspects, but also there is a social aspects and also the governance aspects. And the other things, if AMDAL or other reports about the environment that you read, it is only focused on the projects. But if in SR, it is about the whole business. Like, okay, the whole business. So like maybe we can give an example, Unilever or PLN, maybe PLN, BUMN. So the SR must be in a, how to say, supply chains, all the business change must be included in the report. How much the emissions they produce from, yeah. I'm thinking about the more general term that I need to use so you can easily to understand. But I hope you understand SR is bigger thing. We not only think about the environment aspect, but social and governance. And in environment, we not only see the project, but in whole business, like everything. For example, if we want to talk about the environment, how much emissions that the company use in, whether it is in the site, whether it is in the building, or in all the subsidiaries too. But if the AMDAL or more specific environment reports, it is only focused on that project and only see the environment things. There is no social and governance. That's it, Lawrence.
Okay, did that answer your questions, Lawrence?
Okay, so basically, ESG report is like kind of related to circular economy, just like what you explained, because it not only involves the environmental impact, but also the whole business aspect, facility, and many more. Dan gue keput.
Sorry, Lawrence, I think you're breaking up your connection.
Tess,
Okay.
is my voice heard?
Yes.
Okay, so I think what I can conclude from your explanation, I totally understand the general terms that you try to explain to me. So basically, from what you explained, basically ESG or like sustainability reports has more relation to like circular economy because it involves the whole business, like from the industry itself, the company, and many more. So it includes everything, but only for audit and everything, it just only involves like the financial analysis and et cetera, et cetera. So thank you so much for the explanation. Now I understand it so much better.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you get the answers, Lawrence.
Okay, thank you, Lawrence, for the question, and thank you, Karagun, for the answer. That was the last question and answers for today's Q&A session. I'd like to thank everyone for participating in asking questions and being engaged in discussion. I did not expect the Q&A session to be such a heated discussion. It was very, very exciting to hear all of your questions. And now I'd like for everyone to give a big round of applause again for Karugun for being here, for answering all of our questions, all of our curiosity. And I also want to thank everyone here for participating and for asking your questions. Now, before we wrap this up, I'd like for us to take a moment to honor our incredible speaker, Karugun, for her invaluable contributions in today's discussion. I think I'd like to ask for the committee to please display the certificate of appreciation. I invite also the project leader of Malang Globe 2025, Jason Christian Ebenheiser, to give the certificate to Karugun as our today's speaker. And of course, I'll help with the documentation. I'll count to 3. Okay, is everyone ready? All right. Okay, I think Jason is already here with us. I'm gonna count down. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I think one more. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Thank you so much, Jason Christian Ebenheiser. And now, let's all capture this moment together. I'd like for all of our participants to open your camera and show us your biggest smiles. I think we have a lot of cameras that are left unopened. I'm going to give, I guess, 2 minutes before we take the photo because I really want everyone to be here in the screen. I think I'd like to talk with Karugun first. Karugun, thank you so much for the session today. That was a very good discussion. I can speak on behalf of everyone that it was very insightful, but I'd like to know from your perspective, Ka, how was it? How was it being in our event today after going through the Q&A session, the session and everything?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rehan, for assist these discussions. By the way, everyone, I do really hope that what I shared to you will give benefits for you, will give you new insight and perspective, and moreover, to give you inspirations for your competition. And also, after this, that you will work after the university. I really hope that what I share to you will give and inspire you to be more sustainability, ESG oriented leaders, like you said before. And also, this is the best knowledge that I have right now. But with all the limitations or everything that I maybe something wrong, I'm sorry for that. But thank you so much. I'm so excited to see every one of you. I'm so excited with all your questions. It's also inspired me to learn more. So maybe if we can see each other's one day, we can share the things about this one again. Thank you so much, Rehan, and all the participants.
Okay, thank you so much, Karugun. And we're really happy that you enjoy being here today. I think since we're all ready to take the photo, I think I'm gonna go ahead and help with the documentation. I'm gonna count down again to 3. And then by the count of 3, I want everyone to give their brightest smiles. Seats out. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I think I want to ask Karugun. Karugun, do you have any special pose you want us to follow? from you yourself? Maybe it'll be fun.
Okay, maybe can I ask one question? Just because I will be really happy if what I said to you, you get a you get new information from me, from this webinar. Can I ask one of you, like, what do you learn something new from these things that I shared to you guys? Maybe one person, just a highlight. You don't need to
Okay,
say a lot of things.
that's a really good idea, Kak. Okay, maybe one of the participants want to share about what they learned today before we took the photo. Does anyone wants to share? Okay. If not, I guess we might just. How about we point someone, Kak? Would that be something you'd want? Okay, how about let's ask Alfred Mari. How about Alfred Mari? I think he was the president in Share. I think maybe he can give us a few words.
Sorry, I'm on the way to Cilegon.
Oh, be careful. Safe trip.
Maybe I want to sum up about how important sustainability report in ESG and how ESG is a very topic that really important to us, to our earth, to our sustainability, and so much um, so much standard about ESG that we have to learn more about it, like GRI, PJ, from OJK, and then IFRS. And from me, especially from accounting, I have big interest in ESG, especially in sustainability report. So maybe we could um, talk about it more in luar this event ya, about it. So thank you so much for your penjelasan yang for me it's very clear, it's very deep about ESG. So thank you so much and good luck for IBCC participant. Thank you. Back to Rehan.
Okay, thank you, Mari, for the highlight of the day. Yeah. Okay, I think for the documentation, I'm gonna give it to the design team of IBCC to lead the photo session. Okay, is the design team ready to take the photo?
Okay. Everyone can turn on their camera first, yeah.
Okay, I think for the photo Karugun, we have the normal photo as usual, but also we also have our own special pose from IBCC. I think Jason can help us with how to do the pose. How about it, Jason? Can you give us a quick tutorial on how to do the pose?
Okay, sure. So our signature pose for Malang globe is you put your right hand like this as an O, or a globe in this case, and you put the M on top like this. So everyone can follow right now. Okay, and I guess I'll give it back to our design team.
Okay. I will count down right now, you guys. All right. To those who haven't opened your camera, you can open your camera for now, yeah? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Maybe one more. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Okay, maybe one more for like a pre-post, so everyone can do like one more post, but it doesn't have to be a casual. You can be like a casual one, it's a fun one. Okay. Yes, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the committee for the photo session for having me. I think now we're at the end of the speaker session. Again, a heartfelt thank you to our speaker, Karogun Firmi, for